Tonight we're going to make risotto. We're going to do an onion mushroom risotto with a little Parmesan. Arborio rice, about one small onion, about a half a medium onion, give or take, some mushrooms. What we start with over here is our hot pan, a little bit of oil. Add the mushrooms and onions, get them searing. Once these are seared translucent, we'll add in the rice. We're going to make that pearl, as in we're going to cook it to a nice shine, almost mother of pearl, before we actually start adding in the liquid and actually cooking your rice to soften it for you. Okay, once the onions and mushrooms have sweated enough, gotten a little translucent, then we add in the rice. Like I said, we're going to cook this to mother of pearl. We want this to absorb some of the oil. It'll help it cook more evenly. It'll have a nice little shine to it. Put it in like so. I like a wider pan when I'm doing risotto as opposed to a taller pan, mainly because that way you have more space for the rice to actually work with and keep it all evenly heated while it's absorbing the liquid. So as you can see, it's starting to take on a shine. We're almost ready to start adding the liquid ingredients. Really doesn't take long to get to this point. Usually just a few minutes. Where we go first, adding some beer, because we are cooking with beer tonight. So a little Belgian blonde. The way you do this is you get it up to boiling. Notice I have the chicken stock already hot next to it. You're going to let this boil. Once it starts to boil, I'm actually going to turn down the heat and we're going to cook it on low as it absorbs all the liquid. And each liquid addition, we let it absorb before we add the next one. As opposed to normal rice, where you will boil it in the proper amount of liquid for the entire time that it's cooking. Alright, as you can see, that first bit of liquid is pretty much started to be absorbed. We're adding a little bit more, like so, a little bit at a time. It's already starting to look a little bit creamy. That part of that is the gluten that gets formed, that creaminess gets formed as you're stirring it. The more you stir rice, the more the rice flour comes off and forms a creaminess in the risotto. You can see it when you look in there. It's all that thick cloudiness. It's from the glutens. And yes, as you can see, I'm a traditionalist. When I make risotto, I like to do it with a wooden spoon. I say that the Italian mamas and grandmas used to do that, so they could beat their children. Okay, as you can see, it's starting to look a little better. The kernels are actually cooking through. It's not quite there yet. They're still a little bit crunchy. We can add just a little bit more stock to it. It's absorbing pretty good. It's got a nice creaminess to it. But we're going to keep it going just a little bit longer. It's one of those things that just takes a little bit of time. You want to mix it every now and then just to make sure you get that starch going. But the nice thing is as you can see, you can still tell individual grains of rice in there. You don't want them broken up, you want them just to cook. That's the big thing. And then the real secret of this is definitely the arborio rice, because it does have a higher protein count, a higher gluten to it than the long grain and those other kinds of rice like that, long grain and jasmine and all that. The arborio is a better rice for making risotto. Pretty close to done. We're going to finish it off and let it finish cooking as we melt the Parmesan cheese that's going into it. Bring that in. Mix that in real nice. It's nice and creamy. I haven't added any cream or butter or anything like that. I just let it cook naturally. You could do this a vegan way by not adding the cheese, of course, and then cooking it with water. You just got to add some flavor to the water just to give it some more oomph in there.
But for the most part, I mean, this simple, nice Italian style risotto, really simple. Simple foods, simple meal, always good.